So, Mr. Nathan Allshouse, owner of Square One Clubs, as you can see right there.
Yeah, our nice little, one of our members actually made this.
Yeah.
It was actually for our, kind of the work that we put into it. All the people who've been a part of it are kind of signing it as we go. So it's kind of a nice little piece of our studio here at Square One Clubs.
Living art. Yeah. Awesome.
I was interested in making video games since I was like 8 years old. When I was, first learned how to make, our first, worked on computers to make a program. But I always kind of wanted to make video games. It was the dawn of video games back then. We had like Pac-Man and all that kind of stuff. The arcades were big, nobody had them at home. But, it was something that like, it was kind of like a dream, but I ended up going into IT and all that kind of stuff instead of that. So it was one of those things that I kind of want to get back to. It was, that long lost dream from your childhood that I wanted to get back to. So I joined the group, found out there was a great community of game developers in Sacramento, a bunch of great people, and we did game jams at social mixers, learned a few things, and just kind of, we're doing that for years. And we had a progressive game jam, which is like a 10-month-long game jam, and I actually made what is the game that I'm currently working on for my video game company, and probably, going to be our first title, and hopefully will be a great game that everybody will love. And we got to the point where, a lot of us were kind of thinking more business, and so we wanted to have more of the business amenities and stuff, and so that's how Square One Clubs started. Is we we built something around that businesses to kind of help support independent game developers who essentially wanted to start a business out of video game development.
Right, well, that's cool because I know that people like me definitely benefit from the idea of having services. Right,
game out there.
Yeah, it's always nice to have someone who is able to set up an environment for people to succeed.
Right.
And that's what Square One is, at least for me. So, this is your first game jam, correct?
No, Global Game Jam?
Global Game Jam.
No, it's not. Actually, I approached the community 4 years ago. When I found out about it. To be honest, I can't even remember how I found out, but I think I was on the web Googling, you Google things and things come up, and I was like, this is a really cool idea, a game jam across the entire world. So I was like, we got to do this. And so we did, and that was our first one, 4 years ago, and we've been doing it ever since. And they've been growing, and we've actually had quite a few, fun little games come out of them. I myself have created 4 games. The first one wasn't so good.
Right.
We didn't get as far through that one as we had hoped to, but some of the other ones were actually pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean, your first title's never going to be the best.
Yeah.
It's always going to go through the process, of like, oh, I made this great thing, and no, it's not that great. Okay, well, we'll try again.
That might have actually been my first 48-hour game jam, to be honest. We had done some one-off game jams and stuff as part of our community, but they were usually like 6 hours, and you had very nothing more than a proof of concept at that point in time. So this was like your one chance, like 48 hours. That's
you think it's a lot of time, but it goes by so fast.
That with a progressive game jam, and you don't even have necessarily a full game by the end of that. But it's certainly a lot more fleshed out after a progressive game jam. But these are great because it's a good challenge, and you're based on a theme. You've got the big thing is really the participation. Is like you're doing this with the whole world. This is like the Olympics of video games. It's just fantastic. It's not competition. It's more like we're all just doing it together because we love doing it. So
it's like exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time.
Yeah. And you're fighting through that like I need to sleep, kind of thing, and like give me another Red Bull, So it's a lot of fun. It's a good challenge, but it's being a part of everybody doing the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. So you've already talked about the game you've worked on, and you talked about how you've had a lot of interest in starting this company. I'm going to kind of go off on a little distance.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do something different.
So what could I say is your most inspirational title? Like the game that you play the most, the game that's started you down the path of working on your current project?
That's a great question. I'm old. I've been a video gamer for a long time, so I actually have a lot of favorites. A lot of games that I've invested a lot of time in. Lords of the Realm 3 was one that I put a lot of time in. I spent over 100 hours on Final Fantasy X. Minecraft, I probably put in thousands of hours of Minecraft, if I'm going to be honest. Some of the indie titles that I really like, 7 Days to Die. I think it's a fantastic game. I think on Steam I've clocked over 500 hours on that. These are the games that I'm kind of a builder. that's why I like Minecraft. That's why I like 7 Days to Die, because you get to craft things and you get to make your house and your weapons and your food.
Right.
That's just something I've always enjoyed. So that's a big part. That's kind of like the genre that I really enjoy.
I think it's good for people who like completionists, who like to try to achieve or play or do all kinds of things. Everything that you can do in the game. A completionist is kind of that perfect blend of someone who does all the crafting and does all the treasure hunting and everything that they can do in the game to.
Got to complete all your collectibles.
Right.
EverQuest, that was one of those things where you had all the different collectibles and you had to get them, all the way through, and they just randomly happen when you're EverQuest 2, I should say.
Oh yeah.
And that was annoying. I didn't like that. It was kind of fun, but like it's the collecting thing was, and I'm certainly not a completionist. I like the ones that are, kind of like Sandbox. Like I can just keep going forever and ever and ever, and just build it up the way I want. It's my world.
Right.
It's like I want to play in my world and make it my world, not actually play somebody else's world. I think that's part of the reason why I want to be a game developer, because I want to make a game that I want to play my way, kind of thing.
I think that's a universal motto for everybody. Every game developer wants to make games that we want to play.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the stuff that we've played and we've been inspired. We're like, man, I like that game, but I think I would do something different. I think this would make it better.
And we just hope everybody else is. Right. Like, hey, that is a good idea. Like, what are you thinking,
Right. It's probably why you invested so many thousands of hours in Minecraft, because it sounds like that's a perfect thing.
Oh yeah, it's great because it's like it's different every time you play.
Yeah.
I've got I built like a big elven tree. I got a dwarven holt. I've got actually a couple of servers. We have a server here at Scarborough Clubs, and I just like building those big old huge things. And be like, let's go down into my dwarven hole and we'll check out the armory and the big old throne room. It's just a lot of fun.
So what can someone expect from the Global Game Jam?
So the Global Game Jam is a standard game jam, a normal game jam, unlike like a progressive game jam, where basically you have restrictive things. So you have a theme. You've got diversifiers if you want to go even further restricted. You've got the restriction of time. So the purpose of it is kind of to inspire creativity.
Okay.
Like you're kind of challenged in the fact that you've got a short amount of time to come up with something that's based on this theme, and even more so based on the diversifiers. And so you're kind of reaching, and you're really, you don't have time to figure it all out and get all analytical about it. You just basically kind of go with it. So it's kind of your gut instinct. It's kind of basically like first thought kind of thing. And so it really comes out with some really creative ideas, some really cool ideas, and that's kind of the focus of it. So a participant would come here, and you really don't have to have any previous knowledge. You don't have to have made a game before. You essentially, come in and you just contribute in any way you can, even if it's just great ideas. Like, hey, how about this? How about that? Because those are one of the important things about a 48-hour game.
Problem solve.
Yeah, you got to get that brainstorming session. Like, okay, that's it. We're going to go with that, and just do the best you can to kind of get that out.
It's like you channel your inner starving artist. You got to make sure that you could be super creative in the limited amount of time you have.
Right.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Fantastic things come out of that. It's a way of thinking outside the box. That's really what game jams produce.
That's cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a blast. We already have quite a few people out there all ready to go.
So what would you say to those thousands of jammers right now getting ready for this jam to take off?
Have fun. Make sure you get some sleep and do the best you can. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the games everyone out there in the world creates.
This is a man who knows what he's talking about, so I take his word as fact. Nathan.
Thank you.
Always fun. Always a pleasure.